Welcome to another episode of The Wellness Way. Today, we are diving into a fascinating topic that has completely transformed my life and the lives of many others. The technique is called the Emotional Freedom Technique or Meridian Tapping. So, all sorts of cool things are going to happen today, and you're going to get to experience it. I am Jennifer, alongside my wonderful co host, Susan, and we are energy healers, and we are going to help you explore how your inner world affects your outer world and shapes our physical, mental, and emotional and spiritual lives. And we'll share insights and experience on how energy and energy medicine and energy healing helps you create your wellness. So, as I said before, I'm Jennifer Farrar, Healing Peace Within. And what I get to do is extraordinary because I get to help you remove your obstacles. And whatever those are, your mental, physical, emotional, spiritual obstacles that tell you, no, I can't have, no, I can't be, no, I can't do, I just can't have it, I'm not good enough, whatever all of that is, whether it's created by a belief system or traumas or those heart wounds, I get to help you release that, shift that, and change it so that you can create and you can actualize your best life or your best business possible. So I help you take action and help you believe what's impossible and make it into possible. So, Susan,
I am Susan Flerchinger, your vibrant energy engineer at Form to Soar. And I am a former software engineer turned energy healer. And I specialize really in pain, stuff that's keeping you held back in your physical body, in your mental body, and in your business. What's keeping you from being and having the vibrant business that you want? And all of that is connected. Your personal and professional life is all connected. And so I am here to help you again be pain free, up level your energy to be a vibrant source of life for you, and to soar into the calling that you were created for. Want to talk about our last episode, a little recap about that, the angels among us. Again, one of my favorite topics and sources of support are the angels. And we shared truly it starts with the knowingness and the belief that angels are here to help us. They're gifts from God that are put in our world, in our lives, to be able to help us create the best lives that we can. And they are here to help. But we have to ask, we have to be open to receive, and we need to give thanks for what you will be receiving.
why is it useful for us to talk about EFT today?
With all of the work that I've done in my initial learnings from energy medicine, EFT was one of those tools that helps overall well being, pain management, stress relief, gosh, everything, emotional healing, mental clarity. It can be used for so much because you're helping increase resistance, confidence, so many areas of life that we want to increase and release the pieces of our history, of our past, of our injuries and accidents, all of parts of life that we want to release is a really powerful tool to be able to do that. And it's hands on. So that's what makes it extra extraordinary.
And a brief history, emotional freedom technique or meridian tapping. The meridian tapping moniker came later, was developed in the 90s by a gentleman named Gary Craig. He was a Stanford trained engineer, like Susan is an engineer, and he was also a personal performance coach. And he based his work on Roger Callahan's thought field therapy. And there's all sorts of information on the internet about all of that. But what Gary Craig did was he simplified the process. So he streamlined it and simplified it and made it accessible to the masses, to all of us, to everyone, and made it so much easier to do. Susan.
Just real quick, EFT itself was trademarked by Gary Craig, but
Mhm.
there's a lot of other variations in this practice that have taken hold, gosh, over the last 5, 10 years, maybe longer. These practitioners, they kind of created their own terminology, like the tapping solution by Nick Ortner is one that's very well known. But there again, a number of practices, but they have a lot of similarities. And so
Mhm.
as we walk through this, no, it's tapping on meridian points is the key piece of that.
And the emotional freedom technique, EFT, and the meridian tapping, what it is, it involves fingertips
Mhm.
tapping on specific acupressure points or meridians while you are addressing your negative emotions, your traumas, negative thought patterns, physical pain. As Susan said, so much more things that you can use EFT in. So what happens is once you are tapping on these endpoints, on the endpoints of these meridians, what it does is it breaks up the bonds and releases that energy that's holding all of the pain, the emotional trauma, the negative beliefs in place. So it's breaking up those bonds. And what that does then is restores balance to the body. And by doing the meridians, you are following pathways and raising your life force energy that we know is ki, chi, or prana in various different countries. So when we have blocked pathways, blocked energy, and we've said this before, what that leads to is dis-ease in the body. And if the dis-ease is there long enough, it can lead to disease. It can lead to mental, physical, and emotional pain. It can lead to all sorts of things that disrupt our lives, our business, our families. So, what the process of EFT is going to teach you is how to restore that balance so that we can lead a much better life.
It is a complicated thing
Mhm.
to think about, especially if you've never thought about how, again, how energy interacts with the body and how touch and movement and tapping can interact with that. So
Mhm.
thank you for sharing that beautiful detail.
I mentioned a name called meridians. What is that? Most people go, I haven't the foggiest clue what that is. And as I said before, there are pathways through the body in typical Chinese medicine. So if something is blocked there through this specific pathway, stuff happens. So the meridian system is made up of 12 main meridians. There are multiple meridians throughout the body. And if you've ever gone to an acupuncturist, they are using acupuncture points along specific meridians to help break up that energy. And the meridians connect to our organ systems and they connect to our own vitality and our own energy field. And it's extensive throughout our body. And later on in the episode, we're going to show you exactly how to do it, to take you through an exercise. But one of the things that people get upset about or don't really understand is that we're going to use our fingers or two fingers, and we're going to initiate a tapping on the negative. So most people go, I don't want to focus on the negative. I want to try and be positive, and I only want to tap in the positive, and I only want to do it this way. In our last episode, we talked about control, and we're going to ask you to give up that what you want right now and understand that tapping on the negative first helps release and break up those blockages. The great Louise Hay, if you've ever know who she is, a pioneer in energy medicine and mind body connection. And in an interview with Nick Ortner, she said, if you're going to clean your house, you have to see the dirt first. She means that you have to address the issue at hand. If you want a clean house, you've got to clean up the dirt first. So if it's something like traumatic emotions or a traumatic event in your life, or you have physical pain, you have to work on that first. You have to address that. You have to bring it into your awareness, release whatever's there so that something new may emerge, so that you can program your subconscious and your body to accept the new, to accept the positive. So we're not really, yes, we are focusing on the negative first, but that's not our intent. Our intent is to diminish the negative, confront the issue head on, address it. And by doing that, we are creating an environment where we are allowing, as Susan said before, we are allowing our body to feel the feels. We're allowing ourselves to be present, and we're telling ourselves, it's okay, I feel this way. Even though I have this pain or this emotional trauma or this hurt, it's okay, I feel this way. And you'll find out later when we run through the episode how that works and why it's okay to feel that way and why it's okay to focus on the negative. So once we get rid of or diminish the negative, then we can focus on the positive, because the positive is going to be so much more effective because you've made room. You've made room in your subconscious, you've made room in your body to accept and allow the positive to come in. So if you ever try talking to a person who's in one, either depressed or in extreme pain, and you're trying to lift their spirits and tell them it's going to be okay, well, they don't believe that, because all they see in front of them is whatever's causing their pain, mental, physical, or emotional or spiritual pain. They don't have the ability or the capability in those moments to listen and hear the positive statements that you're saying. EFT, by addressing the negative, diminishes that so you can then hear the positive. So before we go on, Susan, how did you come to EFT?
When I first started my energy healing journey, energy medicine was the first certification training that I took. It was a 2-year long process, and it was based on Donna Eden's Advanced Energy Medicine Learning and Understanding and Teachings. And during that course, you're learning all about, well, you said the acupuncture points, but there you can put pressure instead of a needle. So like they're
Mhm.
acupressure points that are along these meridians, and by putting a light touch on them, it can change how the energy is flowing in that place. So if things are weak or over energized, by holding different points at different times and accessing them, you can change how the flow and the energy is calmed down or energized in your body to
Absolutely.
ultimately create the best health and flow. And so that was part of the teachings during that energy medicine certification course, was what benefit this tool has for managing your health and well-being, and specifically pain. Now, when I first was learning this, I was managing grief and guilt of my dad passing. And it didn't actually have a physical piece to it, but it had an emotional piece to it.
Mhm.
And by learning this technique and being able to tap on these points that we'll describe, it was able to let my body process that I was still holding on to, and let it be able to move on to a healthier place for me. Since then, with my clients, and probably actually more of myself, when I have physical pain that happens, an injury or something, one of my first go-to things is to do this tapping sequence, because
Mhm.
it diminishes the impact of that pain and lessens the length of it that might be holding on. So that's my story of EFT.
It was really strange. Now it's not strange, because now I understand how angels work and how all of this energy works and how the universe works. And I literally too had suffered a loss. My father-in-law had passed away. My niece was born 13 weeks premature. I had left my job of 18 years that I was really good at, but I was having panic attacks and didn't want to be there. The job I had taken paid more after that, paid more, but it bad. And I quit after 3 months. And so I was in a funk, not really like a deep depression, but the funk going, okay, what do I do now? And I'm laying on my couch. It's in the middle of the day and I get a knock on the door, and I get a package. And I'm like, what is this package? It was from some dear friends of mine who have been with me on my healing journey and are also some of my mentors, and it's a VCR tape. That's how long ago it's been. And I'm like, what is this tape? And it says watch. Popped it in because I wasn't doing anything. I was watching TV. And it was a woman named Rebecca Marina, who's also an EFT person. And she was going through her process of EFT and how it can help and what it can do for our blood and how much light And because what happened was is she pricked her finger and was in a lab, and they put her blood underneath the microscope, and it was all clumpy and not moving, all the red blood cells. And after several rounds of EFT, they took her blood again, and all of a sudden there was all this light surrounding the red blood cells, and they were moving, and the flow was much better. And that's all they did. They didn't do anything else. Was several rounds of EFT, tapping out some negative and tapping in some positive. And I went, I need this. And that helped me move through some of the funkiness of that kind of energy and help me create solutions. Once all of that stuff was away, I was able to see different opportunities that were there before I couldn't see them. And I am forever grateful to my friend Cinda for sending me that. We had not talked about any of that beforehand. It showed up like an angel,
Beautiful
like
timing.
angel working through her, showed up. And I'm like, why am I getting this VCR tape? And I have studied it ever since. We're going to go a little bit in depth on their benefits because it's innumerable. And these are few. First of all, overall well being. Even if you're like, I don't really have anything going on, you can still tap and it will make you feel better. It will help you address some of the little mini emotional imbalances. Oh, I got angry today. Get that out so it doesn't create something bigger. Susan, what's another benefit?
So my first one to say is it's stress reduction. We don't realize, I guess we do more so than we used to, but the impact that different situations have on our body that cause stress truly to our physical body. And having a technique that helps manage and release and flow that energy in a different way, calm things down, it calms your nervous system down. Really, it can actually reduce your cortisol levels and promote overall relaxation. That it's an amazing technique for that. Again, it's like for my energy medicine, being able to hold different points or touch those different points, those help create that relaxation that our body needs. Because when it's in that hypersensitive, stressful state, your body has a hard time being in a well state.
Mhm.
That's probably the first one that really everyone can use because we all have some amount of unhealthy stress in our bodies.
Yep. What I use it primarily for is emotional healing. I'm an empath, so I'm awash in emotions all the time. And what EFT has done is that one, it helped me separate my emotions from other people's emotions and help me answer the question, do I need to do anything about it? Most of the time was no, I needed to process out some of these emotions, whether they were mine or someone else's, and it helped me release a lot of grief. I had a string of losses, not only starting with my father in law, but after my father in law, we had several family friends pass away in a short period of time. And then my mother passed away. And then a year later, my stepdad passed away. And then not even a year later after that, my biological father passed away. And not even a year after that, one of my dogs passed away. So it was an extended period of grief of one hit after another. And that gets to be very heavy energy. And using EFT helped me process that grief. As we all know, some of the stages of grief is anger. And I got angry that they all left me. And I'm like, now I know that's not what was happening. Life happens, but I was able to let all that go and come to a more centered place, grounded place emotionally once I was able to process that sadness. And like you said, guilt had that too. And it really helped me gain a much more balanced state of emotions. And you mostly use this for pain management. Can you talk about that?
Yes. What's amazing about it is you can use it immediately when a pain has happened, or if it's something chronic, may take a few more rounds of doing the process. But I work for myself and my clients a lot is something's happened. I'll even use my example. Fell and stepped wrong and hurt my knee. And it was like, oh, definitely tweaked something and this hurts. And so I immediately, now that I've practiced it, I immediately stopped, did the technique, tapped on the pain, tapped on the stupidity of what I did that it happened, tapped on all the different pieces associated with how the injury happened. And each time that I did it, you can feel the pain reducing. And part of what we do is we're testing along the way to see what you get, but literally you can feel a change pretty quickly.
Mhm.
So again, pain, it's the quickest, most obvious one to use this technique with because you can feel what's going on when you do this. So I
It was immediate, right?
for me, it was. Yeah.
Wow.
These different ones are you bang your arm on something and it's, man, that hurts. And it's all immediate to start tapping. And we might get into this later, but sometimes people feel uncomfortable if they're out somewhere where there's a lot of people around. Once you practice this, you can visualize the tapping instead of
Oh,
doing it
yeah.
if you feel weird, if you feel weird doing it in public. But literally, the tapping, it like stops that flow of hurt and pain and swelling and discomfort. It is immediate. Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome. What else can EFT help with?
Mental clarity. How you get, at least how I get, where things are fuzzy and confusing and you can't
Foggy?
remember. It's like, why did I walk into that room? What's going on here? And sometimes it's emotional, again, emotional things that are creating that heaviness and fogginess in your head. And being able to tap on that so that your body can get itself clear and your brain can get itself clear truly does help with kind of cognitive functioning, mental clarity, decision making. And so it's a different way of thinking about a disharmony in your body from
Mhm.
a mental point of view instead of a physical, but the process is still the same. And so it's another great area to be able to resolve those issues and blocks.
Yeah. The first one is belief changes. We had an episode where we used a meditation to help you change your belief systems. In EFT, you can also tap on your belief systems. You can also tap on those predominant thoughts that tell us no, can't have, can't be, can't do, no, I'm not good enough. Whatever, I'm too fat, I'm too skinny, my hair's too curly, or now it's all gray. All of those negative emotions, there's those thoughts that we have that are actually beliefs that are coming up from our subconscious. And you can tap those away. And then you can also tap in positive statements, which we're going to go through in that exercise. And what that leads to is greater confidence and greater resilience. And so those two go hand in hand, and you can build your own self-empowerment vehicle through EFT. It's an amazing look at the disparate things that we have talked about in the last 10 or 15 minutes or so that EFT can help you with. Mental clarity, emotional trauma, beliefs, and resilience. How awesome is that? And one thing that we didn't really address was post traumatic stress. It helps with that as well. And it helps with depression, even food cravings, it can help you with. And all of that information will be in the credits. Susan, do you want to
Thank
take
you.
over?
I first want to thank you for all those beautiful descriptions and support of a different way that we can support our bodies. So I'm excited that we are able to share this with our audience today. But one thing that's of note is that you can do this for yourself. We have numerous ways as practitioners that we resolve issues that are going on in our bodies, in our energies, in our emotional states, and it's nice to have a technique again that you can do it for yourself. You don't have to have a practitioner helping you, but it can be really quick and permanent resolutions. And we love that we can give you tools to help you support yourself.
What I'd like to say about a practitioner is that they can see things and hear things that you're not even aware of. And I know you have had the same thing, and I've had the same thing where a client says something, they're like, I didn't say that. I'm like, oh, yes, you did. And let's address that. So, working with a practitioner is if you want to go deeper into your issues
Yes.
and catch all those little things, then that's why you would work with a practitioner.
So again, grab yourself a piece of paper and take a second here to do that. And we're going to get ourselves ready to walk you through this exercise.
One of the things that most people ask is, what do I say? I don't know what to say, because you're going to hear in the script a lot of sentences and a lot of words. And what we want you to be aware of is that sometimes you don't even have to say anything. Sometimes if an issue is dialed up into your energy field, into your body, and you are completely aware of it, start tapping and not even say anything. Start tapping. And then if words come, then you can start tapping on the words. Then you can start saying something. Especially if a memory comes up, oh, I was upset because of this, then tap on the memory. Because there are various techniques. One is called telling the story. So you can start talking about whatever is going on, whatever happened to you, and tap as you tell the story. And things are going to come up, things are going to be resolved, more things are going to come up, more things are going to be resolved. And those are all good things. So you don't have to technically follow a script. Know that we want you to get comfortable with the process. And now we're going to teach you the process. So,
Let me add something really fast, Jennifer.
sure.
Literally, and maybe it's because we were getting ready to talk about this. This happened 2 days ago. I whacked my foot really hard on my camping trip, and it was like, "Ah, this is so painful right now." And I didn't say any words. I tapped because the pain was right there and it happened. I tapped and I did a couple of rounds of this tapping, and it was like, "Huh, okay. Oh, way better from a 8 to a 2." And then I
Wow.
took a couple breaths and did it again, and then it's not okay, this is not it, it's done. That acute thing is really a great use of this tool.
And that didn't ruin your camping trip.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, teach us how to do this.
Yay! As Susan said, we identified the issue. In her instance, it was she hit her ankle. So we're going to ask to be aware in all of our episodes, we have brought in it's good to be aware and bring things up into the surface. We want to address whatever physical issue. In this instance, in the example we're going to do in a couple of minutes, it's a physical issue. You can also do this with emotional issue, a spiritual issue, anxiety, stress relief, pain, fear, whatever it is, whether it's a traumatic event or traumatic memory, something happened to you, you want to identify the issue. And then you want to assess the intensity. So we're using the scale of 0 to 10. So 0, no, it doesn't bother me at all. Nothing, there's nothing left there that it hurts me. To 10, oh my gosh, this is so intense. I can't handle the pain. I can't handle the emotion. 10 is it's really up front and center.
I often forget to do this is grab a piece of paper or a journal,
Oh,
even when as we're describing this, because this is something it's great to jot down some little notes about this. You can go, we can give you some resources for that later, and that Jennifer has, but it would be good because for you to be able to write down your issue
mm,
and assess the intensity, those first couple of things, it's writing those down makes it really, really easy for your body to then be able to process what's going on. Okay, I'll let you continue on there.
thank you for that. We're going to progress to a setup phrase. Remember when earlier in the episode when I said, even though I have this pain, I'm going to accept my body. I can't remember exactly what I said, but even though I have this, we're addressing this issue, even though I have it, we're creating that resilience and telling ourselves it's okay that I have this pain. Or even though I have this pain, I'm going to choose to do something different or I'm going to choose to heal myself. So we follow the negative statement I have this pain and I'm going to do something different. I'm going to accept myself in that. I'm going to create self acceptance in that statement. So even though I have this, whatever this is, I love and accept myself completely. That's Gary Craig's. Even though I have this, actually, he says I completely love and accept myself.
Mhm.
Then we're going to go into the tapping sequence. So once we've done all those 3 steps, we're going to go into the tapping sequence. We're going to use our two fingers and tap on points around our face, our body, and our forehead. And we have a graphic to show you. And once we get to the exercise, Susan is going to demonstrate while I walk you through the exercise. These are called reminder phrases. So these are short phrases that describe whatever's going on in our body, whatever, whether it be physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. And then we're going to tap on the meridian points to lessen or desensitize. Does that make sense? So we're bringing up the issue, we're focusing on it, and then we're desensitizing the issue. Then, after we've done all that, then we're going to do a round of positive statements. So, positive affirmations, they're the crucial role in creating self acceptance, self awareness, and resilience. Because now we're getting rid of the negative. We've broken up those blockages in our body, and we have made room for more positive beliefs, emotions, memories, thoughts to come into play for our body and our wellness to accept them. So, by incorporating all that, we reinforce our self acceptance. We reinforce all the good things about our life that we don't necessarily tell ourselves on a day to day basis.
Right.
And I can't tell you how self empowering those positive statements are. It isn't required every time to do the positive, but it's so much more beneficial, and it's such a much more complete healing for and a much more complete overall wellness to do the positive statements. And then after we've done all that, we're going into reevaluation. So we're going to check into our body and assess what has changed. And this is what where writing it down, because oh my gosh, it was a 10 before, now it's a 5. That's a big jump. Or now it's a 2. It's going to help you realize that a change has been made. And the goal is to bring it down to a 0 if possible. If possible. Sometimes you have to dig deep to find it, to bring it down to 0. That's where a practitioner can help you. So I understand that's a lot of information, but we're talking to those people who have never heard of EFT before, and we know it's a bit overwhelming. However, once you start the process and do it and get the hang of it, it becomes so much easier. And you'll understand how simple, how truly simple it really is, and how effective it is. Susan, you want to take us through a few tips?
Yes, and I'm going to put up the graphic here with the points so you can start getting familiar with what we're going to be talking about. And so put that up now. And there's some tips to know that when you're tapping, you can you can tap on both sides of your face, one side, alternate between left and right, whatever is comfortable and easy for you. The best practice is to use your like index and middle fingers for the tapping, but still, it's not required that that's a must for things to work out. For me, it tends to be like you're tapping for maybe 6 or 7 times per point, and that's how it works out too, as you're saying the phrase while you're tapping. So,
Mhm.
7-ish times, and you may notice there are certain points that you're gonna get to that might feel a little bit sore. And this is totally normal, and it's areas that have some disharmony or discomfort in them. And so you don't have to be pounding hard, just a gentle tapping, enough pressure that activates those acupressure points. You're not beating yourself. You don't need to be feeling that. It's a gentle but firm pressure on your on those points.
So this exercise is going to be about pain reduction. So Susan, do you want to do the overview?
And getting myself organized in my space here. Okay, so again, in this particular case, we are going to be talking about pain in a particular area or tension in your body, and this is a general tapping procedure for that. And know that to start, maybe you don't have any particular issue that's been going on, but kind of scan your body, see if there is any tension or pain somewhere. If not, no worries. You can still tap along with this so that you can learn the technique, and that's okay. But we're gonna share with you how this technique can help reduce the pain or tension.
Yeah, are you ready?
I am ready.
Okay, so I'm also gonna tap because I love it anyway. So we're gonna
Oh,
start with the setup phrase.
yes, but
And
first, sorry, on your piece of paper that you grabbed, again, after you've scanned, I want you to get in the practice of rating that pain first. 0 to 10. So scan your body. Notice where there might be some discomfort right now. Okay, so I've got one little spot on the right side of my knee. And whatever that number is, again, the first number that pops in your head is that number. And I want you to jot that down on your piece of paper.
okay, so the setup phrase, we're on the karate chop point. If you remember the graphic, that's the side of your hand, that the fleshy part of your hand. Even though this pain is unbearable,
Even though this pain is unbearable,
I choose to love my body anyway.
I choose to love my body anyway.
Even though this pain is intolerable,
Even though this pain is intolerable,
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
Even though I want this oppressive pain to stop,
Even though I want this oppressive pain to stop,
I am willing to be patient with my healing.
I am willing to be patient with my healing.
Okay, and then we're going to go to the eyebrow point. I'm going to take off my glasses so I can show you. And that is where your nose meets your eyebrow and tap right there. This pain is oppressive.
Pain is oppressive.
Side of the eye, this pain is intolerable.
This pain is intolerable.
And right underneath your eye, like on your cheekbone, this pain is onerous.
This pain is onerous.
So under the nose, my life has never been the same since this pain.
My life has never been the same since this pain.
And the chin, that little dimple right there, is such a cruel twist of fate.
Such a cruel twist of fate.
And the collarbone, like there's a little spot right there. I am so depressed.
I am so depressed.
And underneath the arm, my world has become so gloomy.
My world has become so gloomy.
And we're going to go to the top of the head. This pain is so brutal.
This pain is so brutal.
And then we're going to end with the wrists. Just like you're tapping the inside of your wrist. I'm not sure I can survive this.
I'm not sure I can survive this.
So we're going to stop tapping and we're going to take a good deep breath and let all that stuff process out of our body. And for this exercise, we're going to tap in the positive statements. And we're going to start with the eyebrow. We don't need to do a setup phase. We're going to start with the eyebrow point. I'm willing to explore new ways of healing my pain.
Willing to explore new ways of healing my pain.
I know I can heal the causes of my pain.
I know I can heal the causes of my pain.
I choose to be gentle with myself.
I choose to be gentle with myself.
I am kind to my body and to myself.
I am kind to my body and myself.
I honor my body.
I honor my body.
I respect my body and myself.
I respect my body and myself.
We're going back to the under the arm. Expressing my emotions are healthy for my healing.
Expressing my emotions are healthy for my healing.
And top of the head. I am not defective because of my pain.
I am not defective because of my pain.
And inside of the wrists, I listen to my body and whisper sweet sentiments to it.
I listen to my body and whisper sweet sentiments to it.
And now, again, take a good deep breath. And this is where we want you to check in and rate the intensity of whatever pain or discomfort or stress that you had in your body. And sometimes the intensity may go up. That's telling you that's actually a good thing because that's telling you something else is going on and we need to look at that. And it's telling you need to do additional rounds and you can focus in on that, the, oh my gosh, it went up. Even though my intensity went up, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. I love my body. I'm a great person. Anything positive. So keep doing what you're doing, keep tapping. And with additional rounds, repeat the process. And you're focusing on all of those areas that may have come up. Sometimes a memory comes up and you're like, oh, what has that got to do with my pain? If a memory has shown up, whatever that memory may be, it's related to your pain in some way, shape, or form. So then you focus on the memory. It's a technique called telling the story. I think I mentioned earlier. You talk about the memory and you tap through all of the points. Whatever this memory is, and this memory caused me pain. It doesn't matter what you're saying because it's up in your awareness and in your energy field. If you tap on that, you'll notice a reduction. So you want to tailor your words to whatever's coming up. For example, and you can even do something like this. Oh, my pain went from a 10. Oh my gosh, I couldn't handle it, to a 5. And if you're like, I don't know what to say this pain, this number 5 pain.
Or this pain I still have.
Yeah, that's a good one too. And or I am super emotional. And before we go on, I got a little emotional as we were doing that. So something was starting to come up. And so now I'm like, ooh, I need to address that. I need to write that down and do this again. One of the things is it's not a one and done. EFT is not a one and done. It is more of a journey and a process than a destination. It is something that you're going to continue with because things are going to come up, things that you never thought were related to your pain, whether it be emotional, physical, or spiritual. It doesn't matter. This is part of your healing journey and your wellness journey. So I'm going to ask you to take a good deep breath again and breathe out and take a moment to check back into your body now that I've said all of that. And I'm going to ask Susan, how's the pain in your knee?
The pain in the knee is gone, and there was an emotion that showed up. And so, what I would do next, that I'll do when we're done here, is tap on that emotion that came up, and the reason it came up, and what's still lingering. And so, I will do that after we're done here. Yeah, because I noticed that, like you said, an emotion came up is still stuck in the body that wants some resolution. So that's the next step that I get to do is what came up.
Do you want to go through it now or no? Don't have to. I know I put you on the spot.
Yep, we could. I'm not sure if we have to, but we definitely could. It was sadness.
Oh, so let's say this sadness, and let's go to the side of the eye. The sadness that came up
The sadness that came up.
underneath the eye. I don't know why it came up.
I don't know why it came up.
The sadness.
Sadness.
I thought I was underneath the nose. I thought I was working on my knee,
I thought I was working on my knee. Exactly.
but underneath the chin, the sadness came up. It
This
totally
sadness
surprised me.
totally surprised me.
Collarbone, this sadness.
This sadness.
I was totally not expecting it.
I was totally not expecting it.
Underneath the arm, this sadness.
This sadness.
This sadness.
This.
Yep. Top of the head. I'm not sure where it came from, but
Not
I'm
sure where
willing
it
to
came
let
from.
it go.
I'm willing to let it go.
The sadness.
This sadness.
And then inside the wrist.
This sadness.
And then take a good deep breath. Better? Different? Same?
better. And this was something I didn't think to share earlier. When I've done this in the past, it seems like one of those points, I often, it's like a big sigh of relief.
Yeah.
For me, it happened to be at the collarbone when that
Really?
happened. Not when I was working on the pain, but when I was working on the sadness. I had that
Wow.
really, and then it was like, okay, that's processed through, it's done.
Don't
So
know where it came from, and sometimes we don't need to know where it
we
came
did.
from. That's the beauty of EFT is that sometimes we don't always need to know. The process is going to help you release it.
Yes.
Yeah. It's amazing. I felt that from you. I felt when you hit the collarbone, I'm like, "Ooh,"
Yes.
and I'm asking myself, "Should we do the under that?" And I'm like, "No, we're gonna we're gonna run through the
Yeah, we
whole thing."
still do the whole I always still do the whole process, but
Right.
it's a beautiful awareness when that happens. Not for everybody, but for yeah, very often for me.
The reason why I asked, and thank you for being such a good sport about being put on
Oh,
the
no, I
spot, is
appreciate
that
that.
that's the follow-up. That's what we
Mhm.
mean by there may be things that come up
Yes.
and focus on that. I didn't really know what to say, but it struck me as odd that you had sadness come up when we were dealing with your pain. So I'm like, oh, I don't know how. I don't know why that's coming up. So I didn't know what to say. The words came. So it's not like we had this
Hey.
we had the pain exercise,
Mhm.
but
Right.
yeah. And do you want to have a seat now? Or you want to stay stand?
I don't wanna move here, I could stay standing, but the one thing that I
Okay.
will note is the words that Jennifer used through the script, they were a lot stronger than what the than my pain warranted, but that's okay. And so that's the what do I say part. It's okay what level or strength or severity that those words bring up. It doesn't matter. It's still doing the work. So I wanna share it. So, oh, I noticed that it was a stronger verbiage than I
Mm,
would have done given this particular pain, but that's okay. And
that's
it's
perfect.
okay, again, that I had the pain, and it's okay that I'm letting it process through, and it's okay that something else came up, and it's all okay to let your body process that for its best, again, best well-being moving forward. So,
So, what are some key takeaways and highlights about EFT, about what we did today?
the key is to choose to do it, to practice with it. Allow yourself the kind of the gift of knowing that different points, tapping and doing that kind of motion on different points can make a difference to the intensity of the things that we experience. And so to me, it's having learned it, and we can pull this video up again and look at what we did and the points and do your own research and all of that to be able to practice this as a technique and see how it works for you. And if you have questions about that, contact us.
And do start somewhere. And many times, once we're through with an issue, once we have taken that from either a 10 to a 0, 1, 2, or 0, we tend to forget that it ever happened. I know, Susan, you and I have had clients who are like screaming in one session about something, and then you help them release it and shift it. And then you ask them, how is that going now? And they're like,
What?
that didn't bother
Yeah,
me.
exactly. No, no
Like, what are you
recollection.
talking about?
It's
Yeah, it's like,
amazing.
yeah, we've all had that happen. And that's actually a good thing. That's actually a good thing. So, what I recommend is in my Etsy shop, Divine Whispers shop, I have a tapping journal that will take you through not only tips and tricks and techniques about tapping, but help you keep track of it all. And it's a great way of showing you your progression, your healing progression, and things that you can work on and things that you don't need to work on anymore. So remember, the one thing we want you to do is do. The second thing is persistence. Keep practicing, keep doing. Even if it feels crazy, even if it feels funny, even if it feels like you're not doing anything, you are doing anything. So continue practicing the technique and once you get the hang of it, you're not going to want to stop. Please go to our QR codes because that has all of our contact information. Should you want more information, and should you want EFT sessions, we're more than willing to help you get started on that journey. But thank you very much and have a great day.